The City of Bristol, providing beautiful parks, economic development, and a family-friendly community.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July joint meeting of the Board of Finance and City Council. I'd like to ask everyone to participate in our opening ceremonies by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, would members of the joint meeting please introduce themselves, starting on my far right?
John Mace.
John Smith, Board of Finance.
Ron Burns, Board of Finance.
Peter Kelly, City Council.
Orlando Kelfi, Board of Finance.
Greg Hahn, City Council.
David Mikowski, Board of Finance.
Marie O'Brien, Board of Finance.
Glenn Heiser, Board of Finance.
Mary Fortier, City Council.
Brittany Barney, City Council.
Dave Gillespie, City Council. Scott Rosado, City Council.
Okay, and I'm Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sasu. The first item on our agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes of the regular joint meetings on June 8th, 2021 and May 25th, 2021.
Move to accept.
Second.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to note for the record that Board of Finance Commissioner Nicholas Jones is joining us virtually. Hi, Nick. Okay.
Hello, how you doing?
We're good. Second item is our consent calendar items, A through F. Are there any concerns from the members of the joint meeting of anything that you would like to pull off for future discussion? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is to make an additional appropriation totaling $21,441 within the Student Activities Fund funded by donations.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Smith, seconded by Hahn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4 is to make an additional appropriation totaling $13,300 within the Special Grants and Donations Fund funded by grant revenue.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Hahn, seconded by
Burns.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, to make an additional appropriation totaling $175,248 within the Special Education Grant Fund funded by grant revenue.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Smith, seconded by Fortier. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is to transfer $13,000 from the general fund contingency account to the fire department's operating budget for professional fees.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? This is for academy fees for 2 of our new firefighters because it happened at the end of the fiscal year. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7 is to transfer $125,000 from the general fund contingency account to the operating transfers out.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Mace. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is to make an additional appropriation of $125,000 within the Capital Projects Fund for a consultant for the charter overhaul.
Move to approve.
Second.
Amen. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 9, to modify the adopted capital budget for fiscal year 2021 to 2022 to Plan B due to the state funding scenario.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10 is the monthly revenue and expenses report presentation by Controller Diane Waldron.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
This will actually be a quick report because we are actually closing the fiscal year, which just ended, last week, week and a half ago. So what you have in front of you is a preliminary report, but just a couple of things that I do want to point out that I think are very positive. As I've been reporting, tax revenues have been coming in, exceeding the budget. We actually ended right now, and granted, we do have a lot of year-end journal entries and everything that we have to do that we really can't do until we have more information, and we have a 60-day adjustment for tax collections. That's an accounting guideline. But right now, we are at, on our current levy, on budget, not what was actually billed and levied, at 100%. So I think that is really good news for the city. Particularly in spite of the fact that we actually deferred collections and for the last 2 years. Looking back to last year at the same time, we also did collect 100% of budget at the end of June 30th, 2020 as well. At the same time, preliminary numbers. Our prior year tax revenue, we're at 119%, so we actually exceeded that compared to budget. And then the collections on the motor vehicle supplement, right now we are at 136.7. We collected 1.9, we budgeted 1.4. That's pretty typical. We're about 87% collected for a motor vehicle. That's about average, so nothing to be too concerned with there. But I do want to say, in looking at all of the tax collection revenues, we are actually exceeding budget by $981,000 if you add all of those up. So that is really good news, considering the year that we've had. Compared to last year, we were about $600,000 over at this time. So I think something to look forward to, and I would expect that the numbers should get better. That 60-day adjustment, it can go either way, but I think that's very good for preliminary numbers. Building permit revenue, we exceeded by $653,000 compared to budget, and then our conveyance fees, as I've been reporting, we were at $985,000 over what we had budgeted. So all good news in those areas. And then investment earnings, we knew that was not going to meet budget. We were about at 55, we'll probably end about 60, 70% there. And then the police extra duty, which I just started reporting on a couple of months ago, we actually will have a little bit of a surplus when you look at the revenues that were billed versus what the payroll costs were. So we will have a surplus, revenues over the expenditures, of about $350,000. So that's it with revenues. I think it's a very, very good story right now. It's very positive. The other thing, just to note, we did get all of our ARPA money that was due us. I think I reported $8 million we did receive from the federal government. And I think last time I said we had applied for the county share. We did receive that. So that was an additional $5.8 million. And that, as you know, the task force has been working on that over the last couple of, the last couple of months. And I guess our next meeting is July 19th, so next Monday. And we did do an RFP to have a consultant come and help us with that reporting and some of the communications and just help with that program. And I think those are due this Friday, the 16th. I think that might be all that I really have. On the expenditure side, a few areas that we will have some savings. Corp Counsel will have some legal fees, but we will be carrying that over. That was part of the budget process. We did have funds left over in contingency. And a few departments did right now. I mean, I know it's preliminary. We'll have some funds left over. Library looks like they'll return a good amount. Parks and Rec as well, because of their programs that they didn't have last summer. So I think that's good on the expenditure side. We should know we're doing a really big push to get everything in from departments by July 16th. And transfers and carryovers to the Board of Finance for your August meeting. So that's important to my office because we want to get the audit done and get them in and out as soon as they can. So that's the schedule for that. I know you just approved a change in the budget for the capital budget from Plan A to Plan B. Plan A had budgeted the distressed municipality money, which we weren't certain. That's why we had a Plan B. That money did not get approved. On Plan B, the majority of that goes to either bonding, the road improvement fund, and then there were a couple of the rescue plan. 3 projects were proposed from the rescue plan. I think it was the generators and the AC at the firehouse. The one thing that I do want to mention, the grants for municipal projects, we had originally received about $3.7 million the last couple of years. In the governor's, well, in the adopted state budget, we actually will be receiving an additional 1.1. So that's money that we can anticipate and look at using it for road improvements or other projects coming down that qualify for that program. So I thought it would be important to mention that as well. Are there any questions?
Sure.
I don't know whether we
Close to the
covered.
microphone. Very close.
Talk closer.
I don't know whether we covered this in our last Board of Finance meeting, so pardon me if I'm bringing it up again, but did the legislature increase the per-person allocation for various health districts? Did our Bristol Burlington Health District, by any chance, get some additional funding?
I will look into that. I don't know. I know we did talk about that. I think it was Commissioner Calfee that had brought that up before, but we can look into that and see what they did end up approving.
They have received 2 major grants from DSS, one through American Rescue Plan and one through, I'm not sure the federal pass-through, but for vaccination, continuing monitoring and testing. So this year for them, as challenging as it has been as a 7-day-a-week job, they have received a lot of grant revenue that they have applied and really done a fantastic job of enhancing a lot of their statistical monitoring. They're doing, it's actually in my report for council, but for the joint board to know, they've used those funds to really get into some of the harder areas for vaccination. We've deployed mobile units. They have gone door to door. They have partners with community health centers and HRA. They are doing mobile stations at housing authorities through this week. And so it's been a real testament to their ability to mobilize these dollars, many of which they have to spend in a very short window. Does anybody have any other questions for Diane? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before the joint meeting? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Second.
Motion by Smith, seconded by Fortier. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will begin the city council meeting at approximately 7 p.m. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 13th City Council meeting. I'd like to ask everyone to rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Would the members of the City Council please introduce themselves, starting on my far left?
Mary Fortier, District 3.
Brittany Barney, District 3.
Dave Perleski, District 2.
Scott Rosato, District 1.
Greg Hahn, District 1.
Peter Kelly, 2nd District.
Okay. Our moment of reflection tonight is for the families and first responders in Florida dealing with the building collapse. This is one of the reasons that code enforcement is a major priority here in Bristol for safe and sanitary living conditions. And I can only imagine the pain and suffering on all sides of that rescue that has been happening for the last week. Thank you. Second item on our agenda is the approval of minutes of the regular City Council meeting on June 8th and the special City Council meeting on May 25th.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion, clarifications, or corrections needed? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And right on time, Donna Osuch from the United Way is here for our nonprofit showcase. And Donna, what is your pleasure? The video first, or do you want to speak first?
Let's do the video first.
Okay.
Our final award is the Collaborative Excellence Award, which recognizes the collective impact of a special collaboration in our community. This year's recipient, the Farmers to Families program, demonstrates exemplary partnership and collaboration throughout the city of Bristol. With more than 22,000 boxes of food distributed as of this taping, it is clear that no one organization could have done this work alone. Let's hear more about this fabulous program from some of the volunteers who have been helping out all year.
There's nothing that makes you feel better than giving back to the community. So this is just a wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of families that are having difficulties for all kinds of reasons.
So the reason I volunteer at Farmers to Families is because many hands make light work, right? And so the basic necessity to have food every week in your household, this is such an important need that's being fulfilled in the greater Bristol community.
I think that Farmers to Families is a great indication of the social safety net that we have in Bristol, and when community groups come together, we can solve problems.
You know, out of all the charities and things going on, especially over the last year with COVID and people in need, this touches more people in a single event than most anything we do here in Bristol.
I just think it's an excellent program. We're really helping a lot of people that are in need right now. The communities are coming together.
This is such an opportunity to contribute so much to your community, and it takes so little of your time.
And people are very thankful, and it's a pretty synchronized situation. So, and also you get a good workout as well and start the day right. So it's very satisfying on many different levels.
I love helping out at this event, and selfishly, it's kind of instant gratification. You see the faces of the individuals and families that you're helping, and you're literally putting food in their hands.
I volunteered because I think it's a great experience to help people, and it really makes me feel good that people are getting the help that they need.
Frontline workers, city officials, and community volunteers all coming together to address food insecurities during a pandemic. That is truly collaborative excellence. Listening to all of our award winners, I have noticed that the Rising Star, Changemaker, Youth Live United, and Collaborative Excellence winners all had something in common: feeding the community, not only physically, but emotionally. All of these organizations recognized and acted upon a need that was compounded by a pandemic. 2021 has continued to challenge all of us, but listening to all of our award winners and hearing about the work they are doing in our communities is so encouraging. If you are as inspired as I am, please remember the need is greater than ever. Once again this year, we've had to cancel many of the events that raise funds to keep our agency's programs running while being asked for more and more assistance. If you can give your time, your money, or your talents, please give us a call, send us an email, or send us a check. It would be most appreciated.
We had to keep that ending in because of all the overhead views of the amazing work that was going on last year. So I'm Donna Osich. You all know me, President and CPO of United Way of West Central Connecticut. We're here in Bristol, 440 North Main Street. I'm also a Bristol resident, and the reason we wanted to honor the City of Bristol with the Collaborative Excellence Award is because we could not have done this without the help of the city. So a couple days, maybe 3 days before June 30th last year, I reached out to the mayor and said, we have this opportunity to bring in produce boxes for our community, but we need equipment that we don't have. We needed public works. We needed stuff that we didn't have. We needed a big plot of land. So Ellen graciously stepped up and made everything happen. And then, as you know, we thought that was a one and done event. And it was absolutely not a one and done event. And all of you got, I don't know if you got arm twisted, but I think you all grew to love it.
Threatened.
Probably arm twisted at first,
yes.
right? But we have, this Thursday will be our 22nd event. At the end of August, we'll have done 24 events. We believe that will be it, but we're not sure. And the data is astounding, in my opinion. So I just want to say As of Thursday, like in 2 days, we'll have distributed 30,505 boxes. Many of them produce, but actually many of them, more than half are mixed boxes with milk, meat, and dairy products. Those were heavy. Those were 40 pounds. And the light ones are 20 to 25 pounds. We have distributed a total by Thursday of over 1,027,900 pounds of food, saving our residents over $1 million, $1,052,225. A lot of money. That's a lot of money. We've had over 1,000 community volunteer hours, and that's just your hours. That's not even including the CERT volunteer hours. So I am beyond humbled and grateful for the support of the City of Bristol and the mayor and the city councilors for all their work. And I know that I just saw Ray walk in. So the Public Works, amazing, amazing job. The police department, your police chief, I mean, this is for the residents to hear this. You all know this. The police chief has been at every single one of these. Public Works just smiles. They may complain about me when I leave, but they smile when I'm there, and they're helpful. The fire department has jumped in and helped. So I have a certificate for each of you, and it's the least of that I can do to show our appreciation and gratitude. So thank you.
Thank you for spearheading this. I think that it's definitely a testament to the resiliency and the partnerships that we have, even our Bristol Cares partners and our nonprofits that are benefiting. But specifically, since late fall, we've taken over the Public Works garage, and those guys have been phenomenal. So a special shout out to the Public Works Department, and specifically the director, Ray Rogozinski, who has really allocated an immediate amount of resources for this, which I think the staff down there enjoy participating in for a lot of the reasons stated in the video as well.
I hope so. And honestly, I don't even have that economic impact to this, like the overtime for the police and overtime for everything. And I know there's federal dollars covering that, but it's still astounding to me. And I'm really very grateful for all of the partnership. So thank you. Okay. So a little, it's a silly token, really.
As long as it doesn't include Scrapple, we're going to be fine.
No Scrapple.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'll just make a quick announcement while Donna is passing these out that our next food box distribution is this Thursday from 4 to 6 at the Public Works Yard, which is at 95 Vincent B. Kelly Road. And so we will be there doing another 1,000 boxes of really nice summer produce for people who are interested in coming down. So thank you for coming tonight, Donna.
Thank you, Donna.
Okay. We have one person for public participation who might have left, Mr. Burgess. Okay. Is there anybody else who is here who would like to address the City Council? I'll start first in council chambers for anybody who may not have had an opportunity to sign up, and then I'll move to those joining us online. Okay, is there anybody that is joining the City Council meeting virtually tonight that would like to address the City Council on any issues? Okay, moving on to announcements. I will start on my far left.
None for me.
Not for me.
Your Honor, I have one. Attorney Clift has given us a letter regarding a lawsuit that the city's been lead on in a class action suit regarding the Insulet Corporation and some securities litigation. A judgment was finally rendered in the court, and the city was also giving, because of the fine work of our comptroller Diane Waldron and attorney Tom Conlin, we've been reimbursed, I think, for some of the time that was spent by city people in the amount of $15,535.20, so in addition to our award. So thank you to all involved, and we appreciate the hard work that went into this. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilman Rosado, announcements?
None, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
Yes, I do have one, Your Honor, that relates to an article today in the Hartford Courant regarding car taxes and the fact that some vehicles have appreciated as opposed to depreciating due to the pandemic. And it's due to a number of factors, microchips that are manufactured in Asia, a lot of folks working from home and not vacationing, but buying cars instead, and the supply chain being interrupted. It's basically supply and demand. And this is statewide, not just in Bristol. 169 municipalities are affected by it. And I called Tom Denote, the assessor, just to get a better feel for how it impacts us. And just to quickly quantify it, over 7,7173 taxable vehicles here in Bristol. Actually, 7173 were affected. There's over 40,000 taxable vehicles in Bristol. And how it breaks down is this. 5,500 approximately are going to see their taxes raised between 1 cent and $50. 1,288 between $50 and $150. 228 between $250 and $500, and 78 above 500. And in speaking to Mr. Denote as well, who is one of the mayor's superior department heads, and we have many, he explained that people are calling that are affected. They're a bit upset initially, but after it's explained to them, they're very accepting of it and very reasonable. And I think that's a testament to the intelligence of Bristol taxpayers. So kudos to Mr. Denote, and thank you to the taxpayers for understanding something that is beyond all of our control. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Just two quick shout-outs. We do have joining us tonight, job shadowing. Colin Cavallari is here with Bristol Press reporter Dean Wright. He's a student from Bristol Central, interested in journalism, so welcome, Colin. And also a shout-out to our citizen, Richard Harlow, who's spending his birthday at tonight's City Council meeting because he's an engaged participant.
Happy birthday.
Rich serves on our zoning commission and has also volunteered at Farmers to Families. And actually, I even drafted him to direct traffic at the farmers market one Saturday last summer. So all around great guy. Happy birthday, Rich. Moving on to the consent calendar. We have several items, A through J. Are there any items on the consent calendar that anybody would like to pull off for further discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve consent calendar 5A through J?
Move to approve.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is reports and committee reports, and we will start with the Ordinance Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Ordinance Committee has been working with Attorney Conlon to both clean up ordinances that are no longer needed or improve what we have. And with that, this following motion comes from the Ordinance Committee. I hereby move that at the time and place of Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021 at 5:20 p.m. in the first floor meeting room, City Hall, 111 North Main Street, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing on proposed amendments to Chapter 14, Article 2, Sections 14 through 18, operating of motorbikes along parade routes.
Second.
We ask that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments of the Code of Ordinances as required by the city charter.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other items from ordinance?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Would you like to do your Memorial Boulevard report?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Memorial Boulevard Building Committee continues to meet monthly. The agendas and the availability by Zoom is on the city and the Board of Ed websites. Construction continues, and you'll see that the addition to the westerly side of the building is moving along very rapidly. Inside the building, they're actually framing classrooms and sheetrocking, so it's starting to look like a school on some of the floors, which is pretty cool. This month, one of the big things you'll see is that it's scheduled to have all the new windows inserted this month in the building, so that's really going to, I think, dress it up nicely, and if all goes well, that should be completed by the end of the month or early August, and we are still within the budget.
So here's your trivia question, Councilman Pileski. How many windows are being replaced?
228,
Wrong.
I guessed. Poorly.
327 windows.
Oh, I didn't carry the one. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, moving on to the Real Estate Committee.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a motion. I hereby move that the City of Bristol seek requests for proposals for professional services relative to the sale of surplus city-owned property known as Request for Proposal 2P22-002. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effect the same.
Second.
Discussion on the motion.
Yes, Your Honor. This came up recently. We have been using a real estate agent for selling our properties for quite some time. And recently, there was a request to renegotiate some of the terms that we've been under. So we felt that it was a good time, since it hasn't been addressed in such a very long time, it was a good time to go out for proposal and get a possibility of a new representation.
Okay. Any questions for Councilman Hahn? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have one more motion, Your Honor. I hereby move that the following property be referred to Planning Commission for a CGS 8-24 report for the purpose of the City of Bristol giving an easement for a handicap ramp on property known as 10 Main Street. I further move that this matter be referred to Corporation Counsel to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion.
And again, this is just to be able to put in a handicap ramp at 10 Main Street and it's involved with city property.
Okay, hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is that it for real estate?
It is, Your Honor, but I have one more item I'd like to bring to the table. It's not a motion, but I wanted to report the Real Estate Committee has a property on 801 Burlington Avenue, and we have put it up for sale. I wanted to report that we did get an offer for $35,000, but the committee did turn down the offer. It came with contingencies and other considerations that the committee was not comfortable with, and I felt it important to let the City Council know that did transpire. But the good news is also we have received another offer since that we'll be entertaining at the next committee meeting.
Thank you for the update. Okay, we'll continue with committee reports by council members. What we've all been waiting for. Councilman Kelly.
Yes, riveting, but very brief. The fire truck raffle winner is London Williams. He attends Ivy Drive, and in addition to being excited about the first day of school, that's going to be August 31st, London's has a dual excitement. He's looking forward to the fire truck ride. And without getting into the weeds, Mary Alice Petroselli-Timmick, the grant manager for the Office of Early Childhood School Readiness and CDC programs, is concerned about funding continuing for these programs just because of the importance, particularly here in Bristol. Over 100 people are employed. Parents depend on these programs so they can attend work. So it's got far-reaching ramifications here in Bristol and the state as well. So Mary Alice has contacted all our state legislators, as well as the mayor, who is looking to help to leverage her connections in Hartford. So thank you for that, and hopefully we're going to be okay when the dust settles. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is that your only report?
That is.
Okay. Anything else?
No further
Okay.
report.
Councilman Rosado, committee reports.
I do, thank you. Our second annual community conversation on diversity, equity, and inclusion is scheduled for Wednesday, August 4th, from 5 to 7:30 at Rockwell Park Amphitheater. We encourage all to attend, and the first 160 participants will receive a free food voucher and T-shirt. This is stemming back from last month's council meeting a little bit on a public participation, but it's a situation going on with the city, throughout the city. I've been in contact with Lieutenant Moskowitz regarding numerous concerns of speeding in our city. He's been leading our traffic division since May and has identified areas within the city that most accidents occur and has placed patrols accordingly. We have to understand that this will take time, but we feel the approach we're taking, you'll start to see results. While this may not address each individual neighborhood, we are aware that speed does exist and are closely monitoring the data to best utilize our resources for the safety of all our residents and those who frequent Bristol. Lieutenant Moskowitz will give a brief update of his progress at this month's Police Commission meeting next Tuesday. So for all who are available, please attend, either virtually or in person, and that'll be at 6 p.m. That's it.
Okay. Anything else, Councilman Pulaski? Councilwoman Barney.
Hi, yes. So I have two items, but I'll start with my first because it doesn't require any action. First, I just wanted to bring up for the library, just highlighting a really nice story of coordination and collaboration between city departments. In the library, there was a lead abatement project that needed to be done in the main reading rooms. The city departments coordinated very nicely together for the benefit of the taxpayer to apply for a historic preservation grant. The grant was awarded to the city of Bristol, and we're just concluding the grant now. We were able to take some photos with the library board of directors, admiring the work that was done. In a city that went through an urban renewal and lost many treasured historic buildings, I think preserving the library is essential, as it is one of our last remaining beautiful historic buildings. So I'm excited for the project with Memorial Boulevard. Again, doing that preservation and maintaining these characteristics of Bristol that we all have so many memories tied to. So if you get a chance, the library is also expanding their programming again. They're opening up for business. Feel free to check them out on Facebook. They have a lot of great activities. So that's my first committee report. My second, I would like to bring something to the table. So I'd like to make a motion to add to the agenda an item to authorize the mayor to negotiate and enter into an option agreement for the possible purchase of property known as 2.5 acres, more or less, vacant parcel on map 43, lot 16, Church Street for a new firehouse. So it's in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to bring the item to the table. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And your motion?
So my motion is that I move that the mayor, Ellen A. Zapo-Sasu, or her designee, be authorized to negotiate and enter into a 90-day option at no cost to the city for the purchase of vacant land, 2.5 acres, more or less, shown on map 43, lot 16, Church Street, for a new firehouse for Engine Company number 3.
Second.
Discussion.
I am sure the mayor will have something to add to this, but with my time on the fire board, there's been a very clear need for a new firehouse for Engine number 3. The space is very confined. They've actually had motor vehicle accidents with cars going onto their property and, towards the firehouse.
There's some serious issues and as it relates to public safety, and so I'm looking forward to exploring this. I hope that it works out because we really need a safe place in Forestville to have that engine located. And with the density in Forestville, it is very challenging to find an appropriate space that accommodates the firehouse on the proper side of the Pequabic River as well. So we certainly hope the stars align, and I don't know if she wants to add any more color to that, but that's kind of my take on it.
Well, as Councilwoman Barney alluded to, we have a fire district. So all of the houses are situated in such a way that the response time is appropriate and is actually affecting all of our homeowners insurance to the good, because we have a professional paid fire department within fire districts. That being said, we started this process almost 2 years ago through the Strategic Planning Committee at the Board of Fire Commissioners. Engine Company 3 was the next targeted firehouse. Most of the firehouses were built in the 1960s. This one is having some maintenance issues. It is in a difficult position. It is very landlocked. So last year, we identified 4 parcels, and we sent out RFPs and requests to submit to those specific properties. Out of the 4, 2 were not interested, 2 responded, both were evaluated, and this parcel was the one that was our favorite, with a backup property around the corner. Unfortunately, it was a very popular parcel, and there were other entities that were interested in it, and we stepped aside so that St. Matthews could negotiate with someone who had another really great project idea for that parcel. So Good Karma came back to us because that proposal fell through, and so we are now back in a strong position to acquire this property. We have budgeted for this in last year's capital budget, so the money is available, and I would like to expedite this so that we could do some planning and some schematic design sooner rather than later to get this project underway, and also be able to bring some construction project costs to the Board of Finance next year for inclusion in the budget process.
Your Honor, are we doing the options just so we can get the detail and due diligence?
Yes.
How long is the option for?
90 days.
90 days, good. That's a good approach.
Okay, if there's no other conversation, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all for me, Your Honor.
Any other committee reports? Okay. Moving on to unfinished business, I would like to just update everyone on our vaccinations and in general where we stand in terms of moving forward with the pandemic. Governor Lamont was in town again last Thursday at Bristol Hospital to talk about vaccination rates and the next phase. Here locally, we are at benchmark with a lot of the state statistics. We currently in Bristol are at 60% vaccinated of our eligible community, including 12 to 17-year-olds. We are at 95% for our senior citizen population, which is similar to a lot of communities. We have done a great job of rolling out those vaccine clinics to that population. We are right now not discussing boosters yet for the fall, so we are going to stay tuned for that. But I would like to, again, just commend all of our city staff from our health district to Kathy Savino in my office, who receives a lot of phone calls, to our senior center, and everybody else who's been helping to roll out our vaccine response. We have deployed through our partners, Community Health Center, Wheeler Clinic, HRA, the Health District, and Bristol Hospital. We've deployed mobile units in unique places. We've done them in churches. We were at the Bristol Soccer Club. We are in parks. Right now, the Bristol-Burlington Health District is doing homebound vaccinations for anybody who needs them. We are also partnering with HRA to do door-to-door canvasses in densely settled neighborhoods. We are offering them to people who don't have transportation. We are also planning, the Bristol Burlington Health District, to have a back-to-school vaccination clinic for those that are eligible, which right now is 12 to 17-year-olds, because the CDC has now mandated that you do not have to wear a mask if you are fully vaccinated. We also are seeing that many colleges are mandating vaccinations, and so college students from Bristol will be eligible to come get their vaccinations shortly, and to get those 2 shots before departing at the end of summer. On Friday, we are doing a pop-up clinic across the street in the Center Square parking lot in conjunction with the Unite CT bus that's going to be here to help landlords and tenants with rent disputes and utility payment issues. Congressman Larson will be here, so everyone's invited to stop by and see that rollout of another level of assistance from the federal government to the state government being delivered locally to forestall some of the eviction and housing issues. It will be community health centers across the street, and they are going to have all 3 vaccines available, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna. So please spread the word for anyone who has had any level of vaccine hesitancy or just scheduling issues. You can get your vaccines across the street from City Hall on Friday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. I think that's it for unfinished business. Does anybody else have any unfinished business?
Yes, Your Honor, I do have one question.
Sure.
Could we have an update on the disbursement of rescue funds? Has that committee met as planned?
We've been meeting. We broke up into our 3 subgroups last meeting we had. It's been very difficult because, the interim rule closed on July 2nd. We are expecting clear guidance based on the feedback that the Department of Treasury received from across the country on July 16th, which is why we've scheduled our next meeting on July 19th. We don't know exact parameters, so we don't want to overcommit. But right now, the 3 subgroups are city projects, where we could take any of those rescue dollars to supplant any potential future funding, bonding, or project costs. The second one is business recovery and economic mitigation for those businesses affected who want to become more resilient. And the third one is our social safety net, aiding those who have been affected negatively by COVID, households, social service organizations, the delivery of services, and actually the promulgation of further services based on the needs that we've discovered. So we have not yet allocated according to category. The only semi-expenditure that we've made is a vote to allocate for bringing a consultant in order to ensure that our reporting and everything that we have to track is an appropriate expense, and that way you can report back to the federal government that, and our auditing purposes, that the money is accounted for. So from a transparency and accountability standpoint, that will be our first expenditure. As the controller alluded to, we did a pre-meeting earlier this week with interested companies who are going to be here bidding on that. We will hopefully award a bid at the August council meeting. And I think we've talked about this before, but just so everybody knows, the recommendation of expenditures and allocations of American Rescue Plan money will come from the task force, but it will follow the same path as all other departments do, which is Board of Finance, City Council, and joint meeting, so that everybody sees. We are still discussing whether to have a series of public hearings. We are working on a communications plan so that at the end of this first phase, there are no businesses, organizations, or anybody who says, I didn't know about this and I was eligible. So there's a lot of moving pieces without a lot of bumpers on them, and we're really hoping that the Department of Treasury guidance that is due this week will give us those bumpers so that we can start making decisions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to new business. I will start on my far left with Councilman Fortier.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have an item. There's a grant program available to us, and I'm asking to bring this to the table today because the deadline is before our next council meeting. This is a program that brings city leaders and residents together to build stronger neighborhoods, one block at a time. And of course, I'm missing the name of it because I think
it's the Cities of Service grant.
Yes. 8 U.S. cities will be selected to receive a $100,000 grant over 2 years to support resident-led efforts to fight blight and to fund a Love Your Block Fellow drawn from the community, as well as up to 2 AmeriCorps Vista members and technical assistance from expert Cities of Service staff. The AmeriCorps Vista members and Love Your Block Fellow will serve in City Hall to build capacity for resident engagement. So I would be looking for a motion to, first of all, a motion to bring this item to the table.
Make a motion to bring it to the table.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on bringing it to the table? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And one other item I wanted to add is that it was suggested that our West End neighborhood would be a good neighborhood to use this opportunity, partly because we're realigning the corner. They have a West End association, neighborhood association that already exists that could be a framework for this, and obviously has high density in that neighborhood as well as low income in that neighborhood. So I'm not going to make that a part of my motion, but I think that would probably be our first choice for a neighborhood. So my motion would simply be to allow the mayor or the acting mayor and the Office of Economic and Community Development to do what's necessary to apply for a grant to the Cities of Service City Grant Program.
Second.
Discussion?
Sounds like a great opportunity, so
Yeah.
glad that was identified.
We also have the West End plan that was adopted by the City Council and the Planning Commission 2011 or 2012.
A while ago.
And, but again, it's a great framework, and a lot of that plan has already been adopted. It would be a great piece to see the rest of those items put through. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Councilman Barney, new business?
Thank you, Your Honor. I actually do have some new business tonight as well. So I'm going to be asking for a motion to come to the table for a referral. But before I do, I'd like to just give some background. So myself, Mayor Zapo-Sassu, and Councilman Rosado were able to meet with Richard Seebauer, who's a local gardener on Lake Avenue that I think is pretty well known with his farm stand, which has been there for a really long time, providing, affordable organic vegetables, which he is very passionate about providing to the community. Recently, you may have seen on community forums, there's been some discussion about a visit that was paid to Mr. Seebauer about the operation of his farm stand, and based on a complaint, because just to be completely clear, of course, all zoning complaints are complaint driven. So there was a neighborhood complaint, and he was paid a visit, and was informed that what he was doing was operating a business in a residential zone, which is not allowed per our zoning regulations. And so we took a tour, and I just, I want to commend the mayor for being so action-oriented with this. She knew that people really cared about Richard, and we care about Richard and the product that he offers and what it does for the community. And she made time on a Saturday morning before a Eagle Scout meeting and after a farmer's market, so I guess Saturday afternoon, to go down there with us. And Richard gave us a tour of his garden, which is really incredible, and especially to me, who kills every plant I come in contact with. So I actually get a reminder from Alexa to water my flowers every day, and they're already dead and in the garbage, so I should turn it off. But Mr. Seebauer really does an incredible service to the community, and we have a lot of these folks in our community who offer these little enhancements to our community by having farm stands and flowers and things that they'd like to sell. So to get to my point now, and I apologize, Bristol being a city that was really heavily fueled by industry, we still have deep roots, pardon the pun, in agriculture. And I think that's something that should be enabled in our communities to increase equitable access to healthy foods. And especially for me, I come from a mindset of just consciousness and appreciation for our planet and doing anything we can from a green perspective to enhance our town. So with that, I did some research, and I found a really detailed policy project that had some suggestions for how to increase urban agriculture and access. And I'd like to make a referral to the Zoning Commission. The specific action that I'd be looking for is, specific to allowing farm stands, but I think that it could go larger as we go through the rewriting of our zoning regulations. So I'd like to make a motion to, well, first let me make a motion to bring to the table my motion.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Motion has been made to bring it to the table. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. So my motion is that I would like to refer to the zoning commission to, for them to review and try to include in the new zoning regulation rewrite, language about on-site sale of produce or other agricultural products. So that's my formal motion.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further conversation?
Good job.
Thank you. I would just add that, if anyone was curious, I have like specific language, an example from Portland, who recently redid their zoning regulations in 2018 to include this. There's actually language in Detroit, Michigan's, surprisingly enough, if we're talking about an industrial city that's embracing agriculture, to have these kind of roadside stands. I have documentation that I'm going to forward along with my request, just to facilitate the conversation, but there really is actually quite a lot of study done on this, and I think that it would be very beneficial to the community.
Thank you. That's a great idea to kickstart it. I know that our chief building inspector visited Mr. Seebauer today to try to, again, calm the waters in terms of his agitation. This actually has gained a lot of public attention via social media and in other venues. And I think it's kind of a little bit of a silver lining is that a lot of people now know that this organic produce is available on Lake Avenue and it is very high quality. And really another shout out to Family Roots who have offered to sell Mr. Seebauer's produce in their store, and there's been a lot of great community cooperation. I will say the basis of the complaint, which was complaint driven by a neighbor, also referenced a couple of pieces of our property maintenance code, and so I am encouraging Mr. Seebauer to adhere to those cleanup pieces because I think that that will go a long way in terms of sustaining what he would really like to do there. And for those who are in the business, we could always use a little help with cleanup and helping him become organized with how he approaches his projects, which I think would be preferable to be done in the rear yard as opposed to the front yard. So we are working on that. So thank you for that. And we did vote on that, right?
We did not vote on my motion.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will send that to the zoning commission.
Thanks, everybody. And that's it for me.
New business.
No, thank you.
New business.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to bring to the table the National Recreation and Parks Association grant.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to bring to the table another grant opportunity. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
To approve submission of a National Recreation and Parks Association Youth Sports and Play Grant 2021 for the maximum grant award of $40,000 to support installation of new lights for the Brackett Park basketball courts and to authorize the mayor, acting mayor, or park superintendent to execute all documents necessary and refer to the Board of Finance for appropriation.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? To our park superintendent, is this the same grant for which we received funding for the pump park in Rockwell?
Good evening. Yes, it is the same grant. So last year we got the 2020 version for $66,000, which built our pump track, which we're having our grand opening later this month. They invited us to reapply for this. Usually I wasn't expecting to be eligible again this year, but we are. This year's grant, again, there's no match to it. It's focused on equity and access to parks, and it needs to be in a park space that benefits a community that is 50% Black, Indigenous, and/or people of color, which this park is in that area, 51% according to the census tract. It also has to be for benefiting a neighborhood that's 0.06 in the vulnerability or social vulnerability index. That section of the city is at 0.09. So I think this is a really strong proposal to increase access at that site, improve safety with the lights and things of that nature. So I'm excited to be able to apply, and I think we have a strong application.
Agreed.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any new business on that end?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Moving on to resignations.
There's one resignation, Your Honor, and it's from Jeffrey Hawks from the Bristol Housing Authority.
Yes, Mr. Hawks has moved out of town, unfortunately, and so we will be looking for a new member of the Bristol Housing Authority. Okay, we'll move on to appointments, of which I only have a few tonight because I have not been successful in reaching the majority of people here. So I will first review the vacancies. We have a vacancy on the Freedom of Information Advisory Board. We have a vacancy on the Bristol Historic District Commission. We just spoke of the Housing Authority. I am looking for someone to serve on the Inland Wetlands Commission. I think that's it for right now. So tonight's appointments are to the Bristol Burlington Health District. I would like to appoint William Gio to replace Michael Kuka for a 3-year term to July of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to make an appointment of Jack Liu to replace William Brownstein, who has served as our chairman for several years and who is moving out of town, for a 3-year term to July of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And I would like to offer a reappointment to Kimberly Plozet for a 3-year term to July of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would also like to appoint Ken Rasmussen Tuller to replace Terry Parker on the Planning Commission for a term to July 31st, 2026, which will begin on July 31st, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I would like to reappoint Patricia Chapman to a 3-year term to the Stormwater Trust. This term will run through July 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I would like to reappoint Francis Ronzello to a 3-year term to the Bristol Transportation Commission, running through July of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And for the Bristol School Readiness Council, I'd like to appoint Sarah Holmes as the Family Resource Center representative for an unexpired term to August of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, the Hoppers Birch Pond Committee has asked for us to appoint Michelle Rudy to join their committee. This is an appointment that is going to help them transition away from a city committee to a association, which will allow them more flexibility to continue the work that they have for their Hoppers Birch Pond long-term plans. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve that appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And that is it for tonight's appointments. Moving on to our regular agenda, there are several items that have, well, there's one that has a resolution, so if somebody could have that ready, we're going to move to agenda item 11. regarding the approval to submit a grant application for fiscal year '22 supplemental administrative funds from the Office of Early Childhood for July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, not to exceed $42,519, and to refer to the Board of Finance. This is directly related to Councilman Kelly's report earlier tonight about the status of school readiness funds and the reimbursement rates. So we have been submitting every month in order to continue to help those providers that are receiving these funds. This is a resolution.
I do have the resolution, but if...
I thought I was going to have it, Mary.
Go ahead, Councilman Kelly, it is your committee.
I thought that's where the mayor was heading. Thank you. Resolution B, it hereby resolved by the City Council of the City of Bristol, Connecticut, that the Mayor, Ellen Zoppo Sasu, or acting mayor, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents relating to the application funding grant for fiscal year '22 supplemental administrative funds from the Office of Early Childhood for the period of July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, not to exceed $42,519, including but not limited to any amendments to said application and any fiscal funding grant documents and all agreements and any amendments thereto with local service providers to implement said grant. And this needs to be referred to the Board of Finance.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, we will start with a roll call vote with Councilman Kelly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Resolution is approved. Item 12 is an amendment to contract 2P21-026B, architectural and engineering services relative to renovations and improvements at Bristol City Hall with Quisenberry Arcari Malik LLC for $834,250 for a revised contract of $1.595 million and authorization for mayor or acting mayor to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And actually, it might be appropriate for Ray for maybe August to give a City Hall renovation update to the council, or maybe even the joint board. Okay. Did we vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to item 13, approval to submit the National Park Service Outdoor Legacy Partnership Program application with the Connecticut DEP for a maximum of $5 million to support Parks, Recreation, Youth, and Community Services Great Outdoor Trailblazer Project, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute and refer to the Board of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14 is the authorization for mayor or acting mayor to sign documents associated with change order to Trademark Contractors LLC for $677,740, increasing contract 2C21-056, the Memorial Boulevard Bridge Rehabilitation, from $2,670,229.75 to $3,347,969.75.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Can we add some light to this? Does the Public Works Director feel like the commenting?
Sure.
The irony is, looks like it actually is regarding out lighting, so.
Yes, this is a component of the project that was always planned. It was just took a little bit more time for our engineer and our architect to design the various, components. The initial, contract was awarded to Trademark for the, primarily the structural components of the bridge. This component is actually the 4 pillars with lighting within the pillars that will be at the 4 corners of the bridge.
Okay.
I would say there's even a subsequent component associated with general lighting of the bridge that will be forthcoming in the next months.
Okay.
And again, this is one of those projects where We originally did not think that it would qualify for American Rescue Plan, but subsequent frequently asked questions from other communities across the country about bridge projects got the green light. So we are very confused, and we think that there may be some rescue plan funding that can be allocated to this project, but we're just going to continue the path, our traditional path, until we know differently.
Okay.
Your Honor, wasn't there some type of reimbursement from the state bridge fund as well?
Is this 50 or 80? This is a 50% reimbursement project from the state for the bridge, yes.
And did they include the additional 677 for the 50 as well?
I believe we're putting it through as a change order, and we'll see if they approve it, which we hope that they will. And they have on similar projects in other communities.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions on the bridge? Are we on schedule? We had a little hiccup with DOT permitting, but we're looking good for October for most of it. Yeah. Okay, so the bridge will be open by October. Some of the aesthetic enhancements may still be being worked on at that point. Okay. If there's no other questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to turn the agenda over to our city clerk so she can run through our executive session items, and we'll ask Attorney Clift to come to the podium to be prepared to tell us who's joining us in executive session at this time.
So the first executive session is regarding the ongoing litigation, Valbona DeMarco, on behalf of her ward, Albane DeMarco, versus Eduardo Rivera et al., docket number 320 CV 1605 JCH, U.S. District Court, District of Connecticut. And the second is the executive session regarding the matters of James Wolanowski versus City of Bristol, WCC number W0012177671. The next one is the same, 1746771. The next one is 192256. The next one is 272408. The one after that is 432789. Then 2223022, 890940865, 910452985, 910536576, 910543498, and 910645117. And then the last is the matter of David Blashinsky versus City of Bristol, WCC 601073208.
Okay. So with respect to the first one, the Dermaku, I'll be taking the lead on that. Attorney Steve will be taking the lead on the other two, but I would like to have all my attorneys in, just so we keep everybody informed in my department. So do you have everybody there?
Okay, so
sitting right
all Corp Counsel will be in on all of them.
Yes.
Okay, so I will now ask for a motion to convene into executive session for agenda items 15, 16, and 17.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll be back shortly. Okay. We need a motion to reconvene into public session.
So
I'd like
moved.
to note for the record that there were no votes taken in executive session. Are there any motions to come before us? Motions?
I have one, Your Honor. I think mine is...
Before me.
Is mine the first one? I just want to make sure we're doing it in order. This is item number 16. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a full and final settlement in the matter of James Wolanowski versus the City of Bristol for any and all workers' compensation claims for the total amount of $24,000 plus $241.89 for the Medicare conditional payment claim. The dates of these claims are listed below, but are not limited to, are for January 29th, 1999, August 5th, 1999, September 9th, 1999, July 28th, 2000, October 25th, 2000, January 21st, 2001, April 13th, 2001, January 9th, 2002, June 25th, 2002, February 28th, 2005, November 12th, 2005, December 22nd, 2006, July 6th, 2007, January 5th, 2009, February 17th, 2011, June 17th, 2011, January 5th, 2012, June 3rd, 2014, June 27th, 2016, January 3rd, 2018. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporation counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement. I'm sorry, July 27th, 2016 was the second to the last one.
I don't know how you messed up that date.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other motions?
Yes, Your Honor. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a full and final settlement in the matter of David Plazinski versus City of Bristol for workers' compensation claim WCC number 601073208 for the total amount of $20,000. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporation counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other motions to come before the council?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to bring a new item to the table regarding Corporation Counsel's ability for blanket settlements.
So moved.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I hereby move that the City Council increase Corporation Counsel's blanket settlement authority to resolve pending workers' compensation claims from $10,000 to $25,000. I further move that Corporation Counsel or Assistant Corporation Counsel be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate any settlements and to refer to the Board of Finance for informational purposes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any other business to come before the council? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.